are so glad you're here. I am Miss Barb Witt, one of the writers and developers of this VBS.
Yes, and my name is Matt Hamer. All the kids at my church call me Mr. Matt. I'm the children's pastor, and we are the pilot church, one of the pilot churches for the VBS. So we just completed Mystery Island this past summer and got to try everything out for you guys. And actually, Mystery Island is Barb and my 20th VBS.
It is?
Yeah, it was our 20th VBS serving together.
How about that?
And so we've been doing this
exciting and kind of scary at the same time.
We are getting old.
Yikes.
So.
Anyway, well, on a day like today, how many of you wish you were at a tropical island?
Oh, I'll take it today.
I mean,
yeah. It's going to snow today, Miss Barb.
Be quiet.
I know.
So anyway, shout out your favorite tropical island if you have one.
Ooh.
Wow, a lot of
I heard
Hawaii's.
Jamaica, Hawaii.
I heard a lot of. I haven't been to any.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been to Jamaica.
It didn't come with the package.
Yeah,
I didn't get to go. I was wishing I could, rats. But anyway, so this is a super fun VBS because who doesn't like going to a tropical island, right?
What better way to spend your summer than hanging out on a tropical island?
That's right. But of course, we think it's a really important one. I know I say something like this every year, but I really do mean this.
Yes.
I think this could be the most important one we've ever done because it's so foundational. And about probably a year and a half ago or so, when we were starting to develop this, I was kind of taking a class at the time, and the guy who was teaching said a couple things that sort of riveted me and led us to this theme. And so we're going to read the first quote here.
So here's this first quote. It says, "The church is the strongest when its view of God is the highest." Think about that for a moment. It's what we think of God that really will shape our churches and how high we view God. And so we see this as collectively a big important thing for our church together to be talking about. As we talk about
and then the other one is kind of individually, it has to do with the same thing, if you want to read that, Matt.
It says, "What comes into our minds when we think about God is the most important thing about us."
Right, so that's a famous quote by Tozer. And I thought on that quote so long because really that's so true. Isn't it true that our whole life, every day, is just filled with decisions? They can be the teeniest little decisions. They might be medium-sized. You might have big decisions once in a while that you're making. But it's just constant decisions, thousands of decisions we're making. And those decisions are all really a reflection of our view of God. Whether you realize it or not, how you decide to spend your time, how you decide to spend your money, how you decide to spend the giftings and the talents and the abilities you have, that all has to do with your view of God. So this is such a big deal. We just have to get this message out to our kids and make sure that they get to know the God of the Bible, the right view of God. We can't just make up a God of our own choosing, right? Okay? So, and of course, we're never going to know everything about God. That's why we called it Mystery Island. We're so glad that he's bigger than us. Isaiah talks about that.
Yeah, in Isaiah 55, it says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." And so, we have our thoughts about God, what we can think about God, but the truth is we can never fully comprehend God. His thoughts and his ways are so much higher than ours, and so there is a mystery to God, but it's not a total mystery.
No, God is knowable. He's shown himself to us through creation, through his son Jesus, and of course through his word. And so we can know God. And that's what we want our kids to have, an accurate biblical view of who God is. So that's one of our goals. And of course, another goal is for us to just leave this VBS trusting God and enthusiastically praising God. When we found that verse, that's our theme verse that Stacia mentioned, and it says, "I will enthusiastically praise, I will extol you, God." That's what we want to do. And And I filmed some videos yesterday. When they post them, I really want you all to watch them because they're kind of inspirational videos for you to just think about where you are in that. Do you feel yourself like God is great and that you can enthusiastically praise him? You know how you feel about it is going to come back to how the kids feel about it, okay? So if you feel bored about the whole thing, they're going to pick up on that. But are you truly in your own heart feeling like, man, God, I just want to enthusiastically praise you? That's what we want the kids to leave with. And so make sure you watch those videos once they're posted. They're just kind of like a little inspirational video for day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But today what we're going to do is just kind of go through the lessons. Stacia's already given you sort of an overview, but we are going to just do a few of the little bits and pieces of them. This isn't everything in the lessons, but it's an overview of the lessons.
The wonderful part about all of these guides, there's so many different techniques and tips and options for you to really go through. You really couldn't do everything in the book unless your VBS is like 8 hours a day or something like that, and nobody wants to do that.
Perish the thought, right?
But, we want to give you lots of options, and so you can tailor it to your teaching style and your personalities of your volunteers. But, we want to have, these lessons are packed full of fun and enthusiastic things because we want this to be such an enjoyable time as kids understand how amazing God is.
Right.
So day 1, every day, we begin, there's a couple of different options you can do, but every day we begin with a puzzle card, okay? And so it's a little combination of pictures and words and stuff like that, and you're trying to figure out the theme for the day. So I'm going to put up this puzzle, and you can see if you can figure out the word we're talking about today on day 1. See if you can figure that out.
This is our
just shout it out when you know it.
Day 1.
There you go. Great. And so we've got the grapes minus the apes, okay, and the 8. So GR8. So we're talking this day about God is great.
And by the way, the kids really enjoyed these. We have simpler ones for the little kids, but they thought these were fun.
Yes.
And we are talking about God is great and what makes him great. Everything we're doing all day long in crafts and games and snacks and everything. I almost felt frustrated writing this year because it's like, how do you get how great God is into 5 days of VBS? It's impossible. So we just tried to hit as much as we could, but some of the things that make him great are that he is the one true God. There is no other God.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's big. If you think about all the different options that people think they have out there, there really aren't any other options. There's just one great God. That's all. And he's unchanging. And so some of the things we do kind of have to do with that. So we start off, after we do that little thing, we start off with this game called First Word. Yep. So here's how we're going to play it now. I'm just going to shout out a word, or Matt's going to shout out a word, and you're going to shout back the very first thing that comes into your mind.
Very first thing.
Okay?
Yeah. Here we go. Okay, Tropical Island.
And you're all going to say different things. Yep. Next one is lizard. Okay.
You just can't repeat the word.
Yeah, did somebody say lizard?
Somebody
over
just
here?
repeated the word.
No, you got to say a different word.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll try this one.
Yeah.
Sun.
Okay, how about sand?
Ooh.
Okay, good.
Lobster. Yeah. Did they say delicious or butter?
I can't believe lobster got more than Tropical Island.
It did.
That was crazy. Okay, pirate.
Arr. There we go. I was waiting on that.
All right.
Ocean. Waves.
Okay, how about this one? God. Now that was kind of to get us starting to think about God and to tell the kids, you know what? We all said different things probably.
Right.
Right? A lot of different things about God. But we have to make sure that the things we think about God are the things the Bible says about God. Right? And again, we can't just make up a God of our own choosing. Some people might kind of think of God in their minds as, oh, he's like this cosmic bully up there who's going to throw a lightning bolt at me, or maybe he's just my buddy. We have to make sure we get the right view of God. So then we kind of get into talking more about that, and we lead off with this mystery riddle to get our first little puzzle that we're going to do.
Okay, you guys ready to play a little mystery riddle?
Yes.
Okay, here's your mystery riddle. Look up look down, look all around until a great big tube is found.
So you need to actually do this
You need to
right
do
now.
this
Okay.
right now. Look up, look down, look all around until a great big tube is found.
It's hidden in here, guys.
Because we can't go to the next part until you find the tube. All right?
This might be harder than I
You have
thought.
to look around. Yeah. The kids would have found it by now.
The kids would have found it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give you another clue. We wouldn't normally do this, but I
Yeah.
just realized we hit this really hard.
Yeah.
It's kind of back there.
That way.
Back there.
That
back
way.
that way. You
Yeah.
got to look really far. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody see a big
And when you
tube?
find it, somebody run it up here for me.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. You
That's
got
it.
There you go. Don't be shy.
Aaron, grab our
Aaron's got
tube. Thank you. Bring it up here. So you could do the mystery riddle every day. It just takes a couple seconds. Or there's another
Yes.
option
Oh, look,
in there
it's a great
too
big
for
tube.
you. There's the big tube.
Yeah.
Okay,
Way
so
to go.
it's actually written a little bit different in the book, but we thought we better make it a pretty big
Thank
tube so
you,
you can find
sure.
it, and you still didn't find it. Oh, well. Okay,
Yes.
that's all right.
And
So in
we've
here,
got our great big tube, okay? And of course,
here.
there's something in our great big tube.
we have our posters that make up, they go this way,
Yep.
the treasure map that Stacia talked to you about a
Yes.
little while ago, okay? And every day we're going somewhere different, and the teachers will put on wherever we're going. So, for instance, this day, this is with Sticky Tack, okay, our best friend.
Yes.
They're just going to put this one on because it says God is great. One. It's a big number one because he's the one and only God, okay? And they just put it at the right spot at Chameleon Cove. And did she talk about how there's something hidden at every place? Did she tell you that? So there's like a big one right here. Okay, there's many
Yes.
hidden things in this VBS, on the Animal Pal posters, on this. Okay,
There's
so
mysteries everywhere
that
you
gets
look.
That gets us
at
talking about how
Mystery
God
Island.
is only the one and only God.
And she might have showed you this. So you have kind of the big one that you can hang up on the wall.
Yep.
And the kids all get their own kind of size with the stickers that go on that so they can keep that and take it home. One of the little tips that we had, of course, we have a lot of kids coming in and out, and we didn't want to spend a lot of time during our teaching lessons going, okay, where's Billy at? Okay, we didn't have them put their name on it until the end of the week, and then they could just put a sticker on any day because it's just the same sticker, and then they just took one home.
Right.
Saved a little bit of time.
And let me say this too. We discovered that it took a little too much time.
Yeah.
You didn't know this, so I rewrote it. So we actually wrote it so that it's a big review at the end of the week.
Yes.
On the last day, and they had to try to remember which one goes
Which
with
one
which
goes
one, and we
where.
could review like what was each thing and stuff. So that's how we did it, and it was really fun.
Yeah, I
and
think
then they
it's-
also have these that the kids
yeah.
can get, and there's little actual coins that you can give them to take home every day that they can put in their treasure boxes. Anyway, that's setting up the idea that there's only one true God who is great. And we go into a fantastic Bible account, Paul in the city of Athens.
Yes.
Do you remember that? Where there's all these gods supposedly, right?
Yes.
And so we had Paul come and visit us. So there's a couple ways you can do this. We had a teen boy who kind of learned a little monologue that's written in the book, and he dressed up, in Bible time costume kind of thing. He came and he talked through that little monologue, and that was fun. We also had, for the younger kids, we did a little Paul puppet.
Yes,
So Matt's going to show you just a couple seconds of it. Really, you could have this puppet come up. We had our puppets coming out of our lighthouses, okay? We cut a little spot in them with a door that could be opened from the back that wouldn't come off of it, okay? But we're just doing it from here just to be quick. All right.
Grace and peace to you. I'm Paul, a servant of the Lord here in ancient times. I've been traveling around, starting churches, and telling people about our amazing God and what Jesus, the Son of God, did for us on the cross.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
He would keep
See ya.
going. But goodbye, Paul. We don't have any more time for you right now.
We also have
Okay.
this script pre-recorded, and
Yes.
so you can either read it live or you could play it
Right.
pre-recorded. And we also have a video.
Right? We've got all kinds of options. Or you can just tell it. It's such a fantastic account. You can just tell it enthusiastically. If you are teaching and we want you to have your Bible and have it opened, ours is always open, it's over there, make sure that you put life into what you're reading. Because it is exciting, and we want them to know it's exciting, and we don't want to be reading it like this, and we're looking down, and it just sounds like the most boring thing ever. No! We want them to be excited. So anyway, we kind of established that and how they had all these idols. You can have idols of your heart. You can have idols where you're actually worshiping idols. You can be thinking about all these false gods. And we talk about some of the false gods of our day and of their day, but how there's really only one true God. And so everything else continues to build on that. We go into our small groups if you have time for that. Sometimes you don't, and if you don't, you might be able to use that instead. Have your class leaders. Those are on sheets that you can give your group guides who take the kids away. You can have them do it maybe during snack time or some other time if you don't have time during your class. There really is a lot written in here, so you do sometimes have to pick and choose depending on how much time you have. Then you can go into your memory verse. There's always things you can do with your memory verses. We always write in games and fun stuff to do. And then we have 2 review games that are always in there as well. And we're going to try to play one on our last day. We're not going to play any right now,
do
okay?
one at the
so
end.
Lots of stuff going on in day 1 as we talk about God being great and unchanging.
Unchangeable. You know, you saw our super cute animal pal, Camo the chameleon. It's just such a good reminder that, you know, Camo changes colors. Can change colors. We have some videos that we showed the kids of actual chameleons, like sped up videos of that. But God never ever changes, and so that gives us peace.
Right.
That gives us understanding of who God is.
Right.
So.
He is forever great. Yay. All right, day 2.
Day 2. Are we ready for our puzzle? All right. Here's our opening puzzle. What you got?
Shout it out when
Shout
you
it
think
out.
you know it.
There we go.
I think the kids are maybe faster at these than you guys.
Yes,
okay?
God is
I kind of think they might have been.
almighty.
Yes, almighty.
Yes.
God is almighty. And with this one, we decided that we just really wanted to explore the 3 big O's of God, the omnis. Anybody know what I'm talking about when I say the omnis of God? Okay. So that God is omniscient, which means he's all-knowing. That God is omnipresent. That means he's all-present. And God is omnipotent, which means he is all-powerful. And you're like, say what? Those are like really big words. The kids loved those words. Do not underestimate the fact kids can learn a lot, and they can learn a lot fast. So this was cool. In fact, we even got a lot of comments about these big words and how much the kids love learning these omnis. And we did a lot of fun stuff. We acted out Jonah. We're not going to act out Jonah right now. Okay.
today.
But we did that, and they really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun getting in the boat. There's different ways you could make a boat or just pretend the whole thing. We are good at pretending, right? All of us in children's ministry. But you can also make a little one out of corrugated cardboard or whatever, and have the kids get in the boat, do the whole thing. And then we went into these omni stations, and we did one for each of the omnis. So Matt's going to do the first one now.
All right.
Matt wants me to do the first one. Yeah. Okay, never mind. I'll do the first one now. All right, so the first one's about God's omniscience, okay? And, you can just dump a little cornstarch into a bowl. Whoa! Cornstarch, I found out, is really a messy thing.
It's very messy.
Okay? And then you can just put a little, it helps take the lid off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Woo! All right, so dump a little water in there. It's going to be hard for you to see. When we do things like this, Matt puts a you're amazing, really. It's like the cooking shows, he'll put a camera so everybody can see what's happening up front and stuff like that, but I'm not going to do that. Anyway, you put some water in here. The point of it is you stir it around, and it gets to a point where it goes from solid to liquid to solid to liquid. It's really messy, but the kids love it. You need to have wipes, okay, if you're going to have them touching it and stuff like that. And then you say something to the effect of, now, do you think God knew what was going to happen with that? Do you think he knew it was going to go from solid to liquid? Of course, they're going to say yes. And then you're going to say, he made the corn that the cornstarch is made of. He made the water, right? And of course, he made the scientific laws that make things work. So yes, of course he would know, because God knows everything. In fact, he's never thought a new thought. He's always known everything, forever and ever. Isn't that amazing? Nothing ever surprises God.
That's right.
He knows right now today. Here's some of the things God knows. You could make up whatever you want to say. I don't remember what exactly it says in the book, but something to this effect. He knows how many zebras are going to be born today in Africa. He knows how many blades of grass are in your yard right this second. And in fact, he knows how many are in my yard too. He knows how many eyelashes all of us in this room together collectively have right at this second. And oops, one just fell out. I think he knows that too. He knows every puppy, every ant that's going to get squished today. He knows it all. He knows it all. So you just can give some like really practical, fun examples of the stuff God knows.
That's right.
And then you go into Psalm 139 and read that little section.
Yeah, and then we talk about his omnipresence, that God is everywhere. And we said it this way to the kids. He is everywhere, all at once, at the same time. And it's just kind of amazing to think about that God is everywhere. That, like Jonah here, he tried to go and run away from God. He tried to
escape room.
Yeah.
No escape room.
There's
God.
no escaping that. And it kind of really gives the kids a way to think about that. Like, how does that make you feel when you know that God is everywhere? We can't escape him. You know, we talk about Jonah and how he ran to another city. He even was in the belly of the great fish at the bottom of the ocean. You couldn't get away from God there. You can say things like to the kids, like when you go outside and you at night and you look and you see the tiniest star that is just the farthest away, God's there. And he's here too. It's just thinking of those great examples of how you can just bring that to life into their everyday life. Okay, and a fun way that we did this was with our posters of finding the things that are hidden, because the truth is we can never hide from God. So here's some things that are hidden. Let's see if you can find them and see if you can find the hidden thing in this
They're little
puzzle.
animals.
Do you see it?
See it?
You see that spider there? Yeah. You're going to think twice about stopping and smelling the roses next time, aren't we? You know, yeah. And because, you know, next time you go in there, if you can't see it, I'll kind of show you there. It's this
You
big
just creeped me out when you said
right
that.
there,
Okay.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
thanks, Matt.
There we go. Okay, so the next one here, let's see what we got next. Ooh, yeah, you can see that bird and how God has given this bird these special feathers to be able to camouflage, okay, into the grass and into the leaves and stuff like that. This one's a little tougher, but this one's really cool. Yeah.
Wow,
You see
it
that?
wasn't tough for them.
They have really good projectors here.
Yeah.
It may not work so well, you know, on your TVs, but that is really cool
Well,
how
they're
God
posters,
has
so they can
created
hold them
that.
up.
All right, so
This one's kind of hard.
you see that little seahorse in there?
Yep.
Right there in the middle.
right in the middle.
Really cool. All right, here's another one.
This one's hard.
Ooh.
Can you find it, Matt?
Do you see it? Let's see here. You see it there? I can't really find it. No, it's
hidden so well.
hidden so well.
He was so excited to use his little red circle thing, and now he's not
Is
even
this
going to
it
do
here,
it
Miss
because he can't
Barb? Is
find
this it right there?
Yeah,
Yeah. No?
I think that's it. You see more than that? I have bad eyesight, so you shouldn't be relying on me, okay? All right.
Yeah, this one's easy.
That one's easy.
Yeah, we see that frog in there. And I think that's our last, that's our last what is hidden one. So it's a great way to tell those kids you can't ever hide from God no matter where you go.
And it can be very comforting to know God's always with you. It also could maybe not be comforting depending on where you're at with your walk with the Lord or your lack of walk with the Lord, okay? So that's kind of helping them get to thinking about that. Mm-hmm. How do I feel about that? That God's always with me. Always with me. I can never hide. All right. So then we kind of move into just the memory verse for the day, and that is, you want to throw that up there?
Yes, it's behold, I am the Lord, the God of all flesh. Is anything too hard for me? Jeremiah 32:27.
We had the kids kind of try to think, is it too hard for God to know all the pieces of grass in your backyard? Is it too hard for God?
Yeah.
Is it too hard for God to make the sun? Like, is that too hard for him?
It's amazing to think about. Not only is that stuff not too hard for him, it's easy for him.
Yeah, and everything's easy for him.
Yeah.
Right? He's always known it. Always known it. Mind blown.
Yeah.
Okay.
These really cool animal pals. This flapjack, flip the flapjack octopus. Really cool, really cute little octopus. Lives way down. This is a more recently discovered animal. And so you've got Flip here, who up until recently, people didn't even know about, because where Flip lives, it's so far down deep that light doesn't even get down there, okay? And so you think about how, it wasn't until recently that scientists were able to discover this octopus, but God always knew where every single one of those was all the time.
Yep.
Okay, and so way down deep in the bottom of the ocean where light cannot even reach, God is there, and God knows everything that's going on down there.
Right, he's almighty. All right, let's move on to day 3.
Okay, got your puzzle brains on? Here we go. This one's
hard. This is, I think, the hardest one.
I hear mumbling.
Mumbling.
Nobody's brave enough to shout yet.
Mumbling.
Oh, I heard it. Yeah.
Some of you got it.
Some of you got it.
Ruler!
Woo! Yes.
Ruler, that one is hard. They have a little trouble. You might have to help them with that one a little bit.
But we do have the simpler ones for the younger kids too.
Right.
We decided to give you the tough ones today.
We gave you the high level ones.
Yes, the third grade ones.
Yes, we did. So God is ruler. And this is a huge day, because it's not every, VBS maybe that talks about things like God's holiness, God's sovereignty. We explain that word.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody out there watch like The Crown or Victoria or any of these ones about the British,
about kings
British
and queens
sovereigns?
and sovereigns.
Right. What does that mean to be sovereign? Okay. The word reign is in there. God reigns. I find that very comforting because I know that whatever's happening, God reigns. He's the ruler. He's in charge, and I don't have to worry. Right? So if a child's feeling very anxious, I really think if you are a child of God, this is a really comforting thing to know that God reigns and he's in charge. He's the ruler of it all. He's King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So we went through this little drawing exercise that the kids did, and it went along with Isaiah 6. Matt's going to read Isaiah 6, 1 through 3. And this is the most amazing description from a vision that Isaiah has. So go ahead and read that.
All right, it says, in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Above him stood the seraphim. Each had 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face. With 2 he covered his feet. And with 2 he flew. And one called to another and said, holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory.
The whole earth is screaming out his glory. Oh, I love that description. We talk a lot about that train of the temple. I mean, like, kings have trains, right, and robes that they wear, and maybe it goes a little bit and a little farther. That used to be in the olden days, the longer it was, the more important a king was considered, okay? Well, this is trying to say his fills the whole temple, which means it could fill the entire world, because that's how amazing God is. It's a big word called transcendent. He's above us. We can never even imagine how amazing he is and how holy. Holy, 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 the only word that's used three times in a row like that in the whole Bible. That's a big deal, okay? So we talk about that, and what's our response to that? The next day, we talk about one of the responses, Isaiah's, how it's like, whoa, God, you are big, and I am sinful. Because it kind of helps us realize that. But it also makes us realize we just want to honor him. We want to sing praises to him. We want to tell other people about him. All these responses that can flow just from our realizing what a powerful, holy God that we have who is in charge. So the big idea.
Yep, well, we have our mystery bag, Miss Barb.
Did I forget to say?
Mystery bag, yes.
Zip, let's go back for a second.
Go.
This is a beginning thing that we do with this. And we just threw this in, and so of course I forgot it. Anyway, at the very beginning of this lesson, we are trying to get the point across that God's in a category like nobody else. So we have these three categories. We have animal, we have other nature, and we have people, okay? And so go ahead and throw up there one of our pictures, Mr. Matt. Okay, so which category would this guy go in? Just shout it out. Animal. Okay, next one. Okay, what would that be? Other nature. Next. Yes. Next. Yes. Yes. Hey, okay, look at that picture you found.
Hey.
All right, hey. All right, so then the last thing we put up there is the words God the Father. And they have to try to figure out which of those categories God the Father would fit in. Does he fit in a category? He doesn't fit in a category. God is just his own category. He's unique. And so that kind of sets the stage. And then we get into that whole thing with Isaiah and all that. All right. So wrapping up day 3.
Yeah, so we've got Clark, the great white shark. We love Clark the shark.
I do love Clark.
Yes.
I get attached to these animal pals.
We get to be really good friends with these
And the
animals.
kids love them too.
Yeah, and so you see the hidden little thing in the poster up there, the crown. The little fish have made a shape of a crown there. And, you know, we know that the shark, the great white shark, the king of the sea, but God is king over everything. He's king of all. He's
That's
our
right.
ruler.
That's right. All right, on to day 4.
All right, puzzle time. Ooh, they're getting harder as the week goes on. Have you noticed that?
Well, that's okay. They can handle it.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear it.
Coming from over on this side. Anybody on this side getting it? Or in the
Yeah.
middle, back in the back? Anybody
Yeah.
getting it? Shouting
You
it out.
got it. God is Emmanuel.
God is Emmanuel. So we've talked about his transcendence yesterday, how he's just, wow, high and lifted up. But you know what? He could have stayed in heaven. He didn't have to come down, but he did. He did, because he loves us. And so that's the word eminent, that he came down, okay? And he is Emmanuel, God with us. Another thing I find extremely comforting, God with us. He loved me that much that he came. And this is the day we get to have the privilege of sharing the gospel. There are opportunities throughout every lesson, many ways, and in many of the other places like Game Snacks. It's woven in there, and you just have to pray and ask the Holy Spirit to give you discernment about what and when. But this day is focused on the gospel, and we always start in Genesis, go the whole way through. So you should have a little sheet on your chair.
It might have been there. It's got
chairs. They're called
Yes.
chairs, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay.
With the
on your
columns
chair.
on it.
Yeah.
And boxes.
So let's take a minute, and it should say who, what, and where on there.
Right.
This is a clues game, okay? So you're trying to figure out who's in the line of suspects,
Okay.
what they did, and where they did it.
This sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar, doesn't it? All right, so we're not going to do the whole thing, but if you just want to, we're going to just do a few. So let's pretend the first one, you have to put it sideways, okay? The first one in the who, going across. We're going to go across. All right, now you would give them a clue, and you'd say, okay, the first person in the line of suspects. Oh, this has to do, by the way, with who's able to have a relationship with God, okay? And who maybe isn't, because maybe they sinned too much, okay? So I'm paraphrasing, but that's the gist of it. All right, so the first one, I want you to either write down or draw a quick little stick thing of the first 2 people who ever lived, and they lived in this beautiful garden called the Garden of Eden. Okay, so go ahead and just quickly write down who you think the first suspects are. Okay, and then the next box. Okay, the next one, this was a famous pirate, and he had a beard. Is that enough of a clue for you?
A beard.
Okay?
Yep.
I give them more clues, but I think you guys can handle that much. Okay, write down who you think that is. And then the next one. This is a prophet that we talked about 2 days ago who ended up in the belly of a fish. Who could that be? And then the next one. This is another prophet that we just talked about yesterday who had this vision of God on the throne. Who's that? Okay? So you get those going across, and then you kind of go through them and say, okay, I'm doing this super fast. You should have Adam and Eve, you should have Blackbeard, you should have Jonah, you should have Isaiah, okay? Then you say, okay, now let's figure out what they did. Okay, what did they do? What did Adam and Eve do? Draw a quick little or write a quick little word on just an object that would maybe symbolize what they did that was maybe sin against God, okay? Of course, we explain what sin is and all that stuff, okay? All right, then the next one, Blackbeard. What do pirates do? What would a pirate maybe do that would be a sin against God? Maybe something that you shouldn't do, that would be disobeying God, okay? All right, I'm going super fast, so you may or may not be following me as far as getting time to write these down. And then how about Jonah? Did he do something that would be considered sin against God? Okay, what was it? And then the last one, okay, Isaiah, what would he do? What did he do? Remember, he said, I'm a man of unclean lips. Okay, that's a clue. All right. So, and by the way, I forgot to say, and you just tell them, and leave those last boxes, just leave those empty. And then you go through where? Where did they do this? So we won't go through that right now, but you would go through it. All right, now after you do the crosses, you start going down. So then you say, okay, let's see if these people have sinned so much that maybe they're not going to be able to get to heaven and have a relationship with God. So let's start and say, we've got Adam and Eve in the garden.
With the fruit.
With the fruit.
Yeah.
I did that out of order. But anyway, yes, okay. All right, so talk about that. Then we go down. The next one, Blackbeard, what he did, Jonah, Isaiah. And then we get into the point of, okay, so do you think like one of those maybe sinned worse than another? Anybody sinned so much that they could never get to heaven? They can never have a relationship with God? What does it say about sin anyway? What's that verse in Romans that talks about sin?
Yeah. For the wages of sin
Not
is
that
death.
one.
Not that one.
Not that one.
Still in Romans.
A different one.
Yeah.
The one that says
For
all have sinned.
I was getting there.
You were getting there, children's pastor.
Getting
yes.
there.
All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God.
Yes.
And so at that point, it's like, oh, you know what? Those blank boxes, did it just say all?
All.
Say all.
Say the word all. There you go.
Yeah, all have sinned. You know what? I think you need to put your face in the line of suspects because you've sinned against God too. And then they draw themselves. And you've done something.
Yep.
You've done a lot of things. Can you think of something that you've done that maybe is a sin against God? They can draw something or say or write something quick. Where were you? Maybe you just obeyed your mom. You can give them ideas and stuff like that. All have sinned. And then we go on into the rest of the solution to that. But it's the greatest in the world. But Jesus, right? Emmanuel came. He didn't leave us in that. Praise God. That's why we should be enthusiastically praising God, right? So that's what we do with the older kids, and it was really fun to do it. And comments I got from that were, you didn't exactly know where it was going. You're talking about Adam and Eve. You're talking about Blackbeard. And the kids were pretty riveted. Like, what is this? And what are we talking about here? And they were just fascinated by it. And then it was like light bulbs when they had to put themselves on that page. Yeah. Like they're on the same page as Blackbeard. But can Blackbeard have a relationship with God? Of course he can. Of course he could have. He's not alive anymore.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was pretty cool. Now with the little kids, we did a different way. We did kind of a little treasure hunt type thing. We hid around these. There's a lot of treasure stuff obviously going on with this VBS and treasure chests and stuff like that. We'll talk more about that in a later presentation. But anyway, so we hid these little things around where they could see them, and it's basically the gospel in colors. You've probably done that before.
Kind of go through there, the different colors. Yeah. Our verse that day, Romans 5:8, another verse in Romans that has to do about sin.
There you go.
But God shows his love towards us that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. And this immortal jellyfish is so cool. If you've never heard of this one, I know Stacia mentioned it. It's a it's tiny. It's about the size of your fingernail, okay? It's teeny tiny. And so what happens is it's born. It has the baby stage, you know. It grows old, and then it kind of returns back to the baby stage. And then it grows old, and then it returns back to the baby stage. Now, it's not truly immortal because if like a big fish comes on and eats it, it's not going to keep going, okay? So that's, you know, it's not a direct comparison, but it does just give you this cool little example in nature that God gave us in his amazing wisdom when he created this jellyfish that, of course, is just like the flapjack octopus. It's a little bit newer of a discovery, but God's always known it was there and made it to kind of recycle its life. It's so cool.
I was so excited when I discovered this thing. And the really cool thing is, now the artist drew it with a heart in the middle, but it really does look like that. Maybe not quite that perfectly in a heart, but it does. If you look it up, it looks like it has a little red heart in the middle. So it's like, thank you, God, for making the immortal jellyfish. That was perfect.
I think he made it just for this VBS.
I think he did. All right, so last day. Let's talk about day 5.
All right, puzzle time.
Another hard one. This is a long one.
It's a big word. Some of you got it. Yes.
We've got some Wheel of Fortune people around here, over on this side, right?
Woohoo.
Trustworthy. This is a big deal because we've been talking all week about all these wonderful things about God and how he's a treasure. In fact, let's throw up this little thing where another little puzzle to decipher.
It's coming.
Let's see what this word is here, okay? Once you think you got it, shout it out.
Ooh. Wow, some of them are really fast.
Did somebody already say it?
Yeah, I heard it. I've
Okay,
heard it a couple times. Some of you are really quick.
Yeah. Diamond. We're talking about we tell them what diamonds are like. You know, they're a treasure, but there's no treasure like God. Let's leave this VBS realizing what a treasure God is, far greater than anything else, right? And if that is true, then we should know that we can trust our lives with him. Now, there's application for their life all through all week long, but this is the big at the end, making sure you realize you can trust a God like this. Even if things aren't going perfectly in your life, maybe you're going through a hard time. We may not always know why something happens, mystery, right? But we can know who. I can remember a friend of mine years ago, just, you know, it's that problem of pain, that big question of like, why do bad things happen and everything? And it's like, I don't always know why, but I do know who. I know God, and it makes all the difference. He's that anchor for our soul. And I want the kids to know that. He's an anchor for our soul. We can trust him. And so this day what we do is we act out the David and Goliath account. They loved this. They loved acting out Jonah. They loved acting out David and Goliath. Such a great, great account. But of course, David's a great example of somebody who trusted God. Was he perfect? No. And you read the Psalms and you realize, you know, he had emotions just like us. But he did trust God. I love how the Psalms he cycles back around to always eventually talking himself back into, but I will trust you, God. But I will trust you, God. Right? And so that's a really big idea this day. We had a lot of fun talking about it. And then we left with a review game. So like I said, every day you can do a review game, but we're going to leave you with the review game in this last couple minutes.
Just a few seconds.
So this is called, if you don't have much time to do a review game, this is a good one to do because I call it lightning round. I think that's what I called it. Anyway, if I didn't, that's what I should have called it. So lightning round. So you put up a certain amount of seconds on the clock, and what you do is you read off a question, and then as soon as you hear the answer, you make your comment, and then you move on. And you see if they can get all the questions in the time allotted. So we're going to do it.
How much time do you want to give them?
Well,
3 minutes?
It's supposed to be 3 minutes.
You want to do 1 minute?
Let's just do, yeah. Oh, I really wanted to do all these questions, but I guess we don't have time. All right, 1 minute. We'll have to just do a fast version.
When do I start it?
All right.
After you read the first question?
After I read the first question, start shouting out the answers, okay? All right, first one is, just a second, I gotta decide which ones I want to do now, because now I can't do them all, okay? All right, true or false, it surprises God when you hiccup. False. True or false? God knowing what you're going to say next is an example of his omniscience. Absolutely. Yes or no, God named the stars. Yes, he created them all too. All right, yes or no, the most important thing about you is your view of God. Absolutely. True or false, God hates sin. Right. True or false, God never lies. Right. True or false, there are 3 gods. We talk about that. I gotta hurry up and flip the page. Yep. Yes or no, the only attribute or quality of God that's repeated 3 times in a row in the Bible is love, love, love. No, it's right. It's holy, holy, holy. Okay. True or false, every person has disobeyed God. And true or false, God knows me. I am never out of his mind or out of his care. Do we make it?
I think we made it.
Woo!
Look, still got 5 seconds to go.
So anyway, they're not always true or false, but at the end, I kind of made them that way so that we could go fast, okay? So anyway, really good way to quickly review stuff, and just, it's fun. So, oh, I forgot to mention that there are other puppet scripts in the younger kids' lessons, and what happened to her scarf?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we dressed ours. We just got, what are you... Okay, there you go, Matt. Hold it up more. We just got little T-shirts from Old Navy for ours that were kind of islandy and put a lei around it and stuff, and bandana. But you can do whatever you want. So primary and pre-primary and toddler ages, which are primaries 1st through 3rd, pre-primaries 4-year-olds through K, and then toddlers are younger than that. They have puppet skits every day. Last year we did one, but we're not going to do another one this year. So you'll want to get a puppet. That's her name or his name is Sunny.
Yes.
All right.
Works for boy or girl.
Right, and they
puppets.
also have exploration stations where they get to explore a lot of things and have a lot of fun with that. That's all written into your book and much more. So there you go. Our God is great. I hope you feel like you got a little more handle on that, but more details in the teacher guide.